Hey, good afternoon, everyone. We're glad to have you tuned in here with us. Hey, we got an awesome show planned tonight. I don't know if y'all heard, y'all know, as one guy told me one time, don't know if you knew me or not, but you probably heard about him. And we got him in the show with us tonight, Mr. Wayne Reed, legendary cat fisherman from way back. We got Aaron Churchwell, and here he comes,
Hey, I'm
the
here.
one and only with his red, white, and blue jersey on, Mr. Chad Bryant. Guys, I'm glad to have y'all in here with us. Hey, let me say this too. I got my granddaughter, Audrey Reese, in here with us tonight. So, guys, we're glad to have y'all in. How's everybody doing this afternoon?
I'm good.
I'm doing good.
Aaron, what you got to say for yourself? Man, I've been missing you. I wish Joey wouldn't have had no ball game tonight. We'd have brought him in with us too.
We'd have
Aaron,
full
good
house.
to have you back with us tonight, man.
Thank you, man. We still ain't got this Wi-Fi thing figured out, so I can't do anything out there in the garage no more. So I had to come back in the office.
Yeah. Chad, how you doing this afternoon, man?
Man, I'm good. Wayne Reed about to give us all a heart attack trying to get him in here on time.
Well, hey, and for the people that know, right before the program got started, we was having a little complication, but we got Chad hired. He is our tech guy. What they call you? Don't you have a title? High tech what?
They call me the high-tech redneck at work.
Guys, do one thing for me as we get started because we're looking to have a great program this afternoon. I want you to tag a couple of friends. I want you to share this post right here, and let's blow it out of the water. We got an awesome cat fisherman here tonight, Mr. Wayne Reed. Wayne, introduce yourself here and tell us a little bit about yourself, man.
Wayne Reed, live in North Alabama. I'm about 15 minutes from Ditto Landing, about 35, 40 minutes from Ingalls Harbor. Pretty much lived here my whole life between here and Decatur, Alabama. So, love this catfishing. It's got a hold of me.
Yes. Wayne's one of them guys. I don't know. Wayne, probably you, along with a couple more people, when I first got a cell phone and found out that they come out with Facebook Live and stuff, is when I was able to meet a lot of y'all. And I reckon that's a way probably all of us have met. But I'm going to go back several years, and I've been knowing you knowing about you since I've been on Facebook. And it's been an honor of mine being acquainted with you, man. And glad to have you on the program tonight.
Thank you.
Wayne is the man to beat up there on Wheeler. Every time I go fishing up there, I call him about halfway through the day and say, "You got a good one?" He's always got a good one in the boat. He's always got me beat by like a pound or two.
Hey, he's always got that. You know what? And I hope I don't speak out of turn, but he's that guy that you hear about and you're like, I hear Wayne's got a 60-plus pounder. You know, like, well, I really wouldn't expect nothing different.
Yep.
Wayne's tough. He's good.
Oh, man. Well, guys, I want y'all to get ready with your question now. We're going to jump in with some stuff. And Chad and Aaron, if y'all will help me out here in the chat. Guys, in the chat, I encourage you, if you would. We're looking for some comments, looking for some questions. We got a great guy here tonight. Matter of fact, there's a lot of experiences here live with us tonight. So hopefully if there's a question that arises, we'll be able to take care of it. I want to say this before we even go any further. I want to thank everybody that's in the chat. We want to try to keep up with everything, all the questions. We got two guys here, Aaron and Chad. Y'all would help us with this. But, guys, we encourage you, if you would, to first some questions stuff pop up, put it in the chat, pop it up there, and we're going to try our best to get to it. We're going to start off tonight. We got him in here. This is what we got him for. He fishes up here on North Alabama, a lot on the Tennessee River. That's his home waters. It's been an honor of mine being able to be acquainted with him. Wayne, what's some of your favorite techniques, and what are some of the stuff that let's just start with techniques. What's one of your favorite techniques that you go to, man?
I think everybody knows that knows me. I drag bait until I get tired, and then I drag for another hour.
Wayne, do you even own an anchor? That's what I want to know.
I do, but it's just for the flathead fishing up in Gunnersville in the spring of the year.
Now, I'm going to get into this right here because, Aaron, you probably know as well as I do. One of the things that I've noticed just by my little bit of time on the water at the same time that Wayne's up there, he's always just creeping around. You ever notice that? I mean, he's just idling around. He does it.
Yep.
You spend a lot of time, Wayne, looking, don't you?
Yeah, you know, I had at a tournament, I had a young man come up to me once, and he said, "I want to ask you a question, if you don't mind." I said, "Sure, I don't mind." And he said, "How did you get to where you could catch these big catfish?" And it was in my older boat before I got this new G3, and I said, "Come here, and I'll show you." And we walked over to my boat, and I pointed at the floorboard under the steering wheel, and he just kind of looked at me. And where I had rode so much in that boat, that aluminum was shiny like a mirror. I said, "You got to do a lot more riding than fishing a lot of times." Yeah. So before a tournament, I'll go down sometime 2 days and never drop any bait on anything. Just riding and looking, riding and looking.
Riding and looking.
Yep.
I got a question already right off the rip. Actually, I got a story too about Wayne. It was the Cabela's on Wheelers. Me and old Jake Herman won. It was the week before we were out there, and we're driving up the lake. And he used to have a camouflage. It was an Excel
Crestliner.
Yeah. And he had done a camo wrap on it. We drove plumb past him already, and I looked over and I seen that boat, and I was like, "Man, that looks like Wayne's boat." So I slowed down, and he pops up over the rail of the boat looking at me, and I was like, "What is he doing? He's over there hiding." But he was scanning that day. That's all he was doing.
Yeah. I very, very seldom drop any bait before a tournament. Very seldom. If I find some fish and I'm a little bit curious, I might drop down and just see if I can catch one real quick. But I don't want to catch one the day before that I need the next day.
Yeah.
Well, that's always been a rule of thumb. But, you know, with that being said, I'm not able right now with my job to travel like I want to. So I don't discount guys that drive 4, 5, 6, 8, 10, 12 hours to Wheeler to fish before the tournament. I don't blame them. I would do the same thing. But for me living here, I tend to just ride and look more than fish before the tournaments.
I can vouch for that. I've seen pictures. Wayne sent me pictures on his fish finder of fish, and he's like, "If these eat tomorrow, y'all are in trouble, boys."
Well, Rain, and you know, there's a couple of guys that I've heard them talk about, you know, that do the same thing you do, and they says, you know, something, catching them is probably not the biggest thing. It's just trying to find them, and they do the same thing you do, and I will vouch because. Like I said, when I come on, I've seen you out there, man, just looking and spend a lot of time. And I witness a lot of confidence that you put in your equipment, your graph, to be able to do this right here.
Yep. I was a Garmin guy in my other boat and went with a Solix this time, and it was a learning curve. It really was, but I've learned some things. Chad has showed me some stuff, our high-tech redneck there, that's helped me. And I'm building more and more confidence with it. And it's, to me, the Garmin's a little easier to use.
Yes, very user-friendly.
It's very easy to use. I like that bird, but I almost wish I still had at least one Garmin mounted up there.
What was the transducer you had on your Garmin, Wayne? Was it a GT52?
I'm not even sure.
That new transducer they came out with is, I mean, it is side by side comparison to Humminbird now.
Yeah, gotcha.
Man,
there's good electronics now for sure, and that helps. That helps.
Yeah, and you know that here in the last 5 years, man, and it may be a little bit longer than that, but the last 5 or 7 years, the electronics has, I mean, it is booming.
Yeah.
Technology just seems like it's changing every day, you know.
So, man, the questions have just been rolling by. So I got one right off the rip for you. What's your thoughts, Wayne, on fishing memories for the area that you're targeting from fishing, previous years there? Do you rely on memories, or do you find fish the day of a tournament?
I don't mean this to sound the wrong way, but if you're fishing memories, I'm probably going to beat you.
Yeah.
It's okay to go look at those spots, but I'm not going to fish a memory a whole lot. I may scan through there and look.
Yep.
But there's a lot of people getting hung up. Well, I caught that big fish there last year. He might be there, but chances are he's not.
And I want to throw this in, Wayne, because I will say for a lot of people, and it's been that way for me, that mental block is hard to overcome. To think back, well, man, I've caught them here before, and when you pull over it and you scan, you don't see nothing, and you still say, well, I've caught them here before, and you spend a lot of time just on that memory thing, and at the end of the day, you didn't catch them, and it is something hard to overcome.
It is, and I don't fault anybody for doing it, and I have done it in the past, but you have to get past that to get better.
Mm-hmm. That comes with realizing how much these fish move on a daily basis.
Exactly. Now,
and why those fish were there one day, those conditions may not be the same, so those fish may not be there this time.
Yep.
Now I will say this, as far as the memories go, like the time of year that we're in right now, where a lot of these fish may be transitioning from the spawn, coming off the nest. Them transition areas, they're going to produce for you. But as far as finding a rock out there and going and setting, I don't do it.
I got a question, because this is something that I know. What's your setup look like when you're dragging bait, Wayne? Tell us how you rig up, because this is something that's going to blow you guys' mind.
It's hard to beat simple. I use a Gamakatsu 10-aught big game hook. Now I have bought some of the 12-aught Dales. I fished with Chad some, and I have started using those some. I use that, a peg float, a barrel swivel, a drop loop, and a 3-ounce bank sinker. That's my dragging rig.
I'm gonna have to get him some bobby weights.
He drags baits with bank sinkers.
I do. I use a 15-pound Cajun line with a dropper loop, and I take off. Drop bait and go.
Give you that breakaway.
Wayne, is there a certain speed that you like, and does that change? What would make you change the speed, and what is your speed that you look for?
I usually start out at a 5.5. To me, as the water warms up, I'm gonna get on up there, 0.7, 0.8. But just like everybody knows, if you're struggling with how to figure out what speed, I run 4 boards, a short and a long, straight out the back of the boat, and I just get to zigzagging. Because these boards on your port side, they're going to slow down. The ones on the starboard side, they're going to speed up until you kind of figure out, which boards are getting hit, or if you're just out there dragging bait and burning fuel.
Yeah.
So when you are out there dragging and you get hung up, this was a question in there. Do you turn the boat around and go get it, or do you just break it off?
I snap it and go.
That's me too. I break it off as quick as I can and get another one rigged up and back out there.
Yep.
Yeah. I do the same way. If I have a planer board on, I'm like, hey, and that's the reason I lose some planer boards every now and then. I'm like, boys, we got 6 or 8 rods out. We ain't stopping. We'll have to just come back and get it. Hope we can find it when we get back.
Now, I've got a great sponsor on my planer boards, and he would probably send them to me. But now, if there's a lot of current and I know that board's going to get away from me, a lot of times I will go ahead and run that board down and get it.
Yeah.
But, for the most part, Well, that dropper loop, a lot of times I can just hold tight to the rod and break that off and not lose that board and go ahead and bring it in, retie.
Yeah.
But
Wayne, what kind of boards do you run?
I use the original clear boards. I've used several other. If Robin East is watching this, I hope he doesn't have food in his mouth. He's gonna spit it out. I've used boards and not catch a fish and intertwine them with those clear boards and be catching fish and some of the boards that Robin liked, I can't catch a fish on them. And every time I tell him that, he laughs at me. But that's just me. I have a lot of fun with Robin.
He's a good guy, ain't he?
He is. Him and Miss Stacy, they'll come up now. You know, they live several hours from Wheeler. They come up and spend the night with us. So we've got to be good friends. And he's pretty good for a 75-year-old.
Wow. Hey, I didn't know he was that old.
He's not.
No, I've been thinking, I'm like, he can't be that old.
Hey, Dale Dunaway got in here and he said, if we can get Charles Crook in here to give away a meat hunter rod of the winner's choice, Dale will match it with a $100 gift certificate.
Somebody tag Charles.
Somebody better start tagging Charles.
Well, all he got to do is jump in and send one of us a message and tell him it's on, and we'll go for it. Hey, I want to pop up one thing. I want to make mention of this.
Oh, I got to get off here for just a second. Dale done sent me a message. Said he's got a heck of a giveaway. I'll be right back.
That's the one I just told you about.
Guys, I wanted to make mention of this, and I just throw this out here. I know I popped it up on here a while ago. There was a terrible accident here in my hometown this week. I know probably it's been on the world news, been everywhere. There was a bad wreck on I-65 here in Greenville. They're going to the Heart of Dixie is looking at having a benefit tournament for this right here. So guys, we want to just throw in a plug right here for this right here. This is for the ones that lost their families. There was a lot of people that was killed this past weekend. So just keep a watch out for this right here, and we appreciate everybody's support. Tony, thank you, man, for posting this up on here.
That was a sad event we had down there.
Yes, it was.
Brian Cosby's son was actually dating one of the girls that was on that boat. So send out some prayers for him and his family, too. I know his son's taking it really hard.
Yeah.
I think yesterday afternoon we seen their GoFundMe page was up to like 320,000. So people are coming, they're coming to help, and that's great.
Yeah.
We got to give back.
Wayne, is there a certain time of the year that you prefer over the others? Or if you was looking for big catfish, if you're going to go out searching for big ones, when is your favorite time, or is it you have one?
Cold weather. I like cold weather fishing.
You sure about that?
I'm positive.
I've seen you put some big fish in the boat in the springtime.
I have, but I like to look for them in the winter.
Yeah. If Wayne's on the water, he's putting big fish in the boat. It don't matter what time of year.
I don't know who he's trying to lie to.
Wayne was one of the first guys we met from the tournament fishing scene. He used to fish Steve Dobbs tournaments a lot, and Wayne was one of the first guys we ever met. He's a heck of a nice guy, guys.
I met him at an Alabama catfish trail one time out of Ditto. Or no, it was out of Ingalls Harbor. And you had just wrapped the boat, and you was telling me about how much of a pain in the butt it was to wrap that thing.
Yep.
And I think we took third that day. We was fishing right there in the mouth of what's that creek just upriver from Ingalls?
Flint.
Yep, Flint. We was right there in the mouth of Flint. Caught a ton of fish.
I think it's Flint.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's start off with this, because I don't know, Chan, where did you find out a while ago about a giveaway, man?
Well, man, Dale said if Charles will give away a rod, he'll give away $100. And Charles came back and said he'll give away 2 rods if Dale will give away $200. Well, he put it back on you, Dale.
I know for certain we're going to give away one rod, and we're going to give away $100 credit there to Dale's Tackle. We're going to go ahead right now, and we have a culling system. Tell them where that culling system is from, Aaron.
From Old Partners in Slime. We've actually made a few little changes to it that I think will help a little bit. So we went with a little bit thicker tubing on it, so it'll give it a lot better grip on it. It's not as hard to move anymore. And we've changed 2 of the colors. So our green's a little bit more of a brighter green, and we actually have pink. We used to have orange and red, and they were too close together. So some lucky winner's going to bring that home tonight.
Wayne, there's a question on here that says, Mr. Wayne, where and how do you fish the spawn?
I usually don't. It's tough. I don't have a good answer for that. Usually when I know they're spawning heavy, I hope my wife's not watching. I call it fishing credits. During the spawn, I do honeydews, and we work in the yard and around the house, and I build up my fishing credits for when they come up. That's true. That's the truth.
I actually just put a video out yesterday on Don't Be Scared of the Spawn on YouTube. And I think the biggest thing I can tell people is fish the same way. Not all of them go on spawn at the same time. I mean, we caught some quality fish 2 days ago. Me and Greg's actually over here at my house right now, but Greg Mays and me, we're going to go up in the morning. And so we did that show on fishing deep water. We're going to target those areas that those fish are looking for spawning places.
Yeah.
And target some fish in some shallow water and see what we can catch. So I don't think changing the way you fish during the spawn, I don't think it's necessary.
There's another question here that says, when you're scanning, what do y'all look for?
Mr. Wayne?
You know, really, if I've got an idea where I think the fish are at, you're scanning the ledges. I look for any kind of, maybe we've had so much flooding up here. You'd be surprised how many new trees you can get out there and mark. Yeah. So, my side scan, I usually keep it 100 foot out each side of the boat. So I drop waypoints, as I'm scanning and come back through. And something I've started doing, guys, and if you'll take just the extra couple of seconds to do it on these hummingbirds, but you can put a comment on there. When you drop that waypoint, you can go back in and click on it, and you can pull up an alpha pad, and you can put stump, rock, concrete, because you're not going to remember what them marks are. I'm not. And then I'm bad about, if I'm scanning a spot and I mark a decent fish and he's off the side, I'll put a waypoint on him. And then I'll just keep going. And that way, when I come back through with my boards, I can kind of make sure I'm kind of bumping close to them waypoints. And then you start getting confused. So take an extra minute or two and go ahead and name them waypoints. You'll be glad you did.
Yeah, that's what happens when you get old. I don't have to do that. I can remember what's what.
Hey,
okay.
Look here. I got all dressed up for you, and you need a haircut, Bobby.
I do. That thing's getting out of control, son.
Oh, hey guys, I got the winner of the culling system here. Thanks to popping up on here, Jake Ederman. Jake, if you would contact Aaron Churchwell on Messenger. You should be able to find him there. Tell him that you won the culling system. Give him your address, and he'll make sure this right here is sent out to you. Wayne, let me ask you this. When you're out looking, and I know everybody looks for different things, but one is that if you're looking at your graph, maybe you're looking at your maps, what is it that causes you to go to a certain place to stop and to start looking? Is there something on your map that you've seen of all the water that you cover? I know a lot of guys, it's a common ask question. what caused you to go over here? What is it that causes you to go look at a place or stop?
You know, on my map, I've got the different water depths shaded. You know, you got obviously your red and the lighter blues and greens. So I look for holes. I look for indentations where maybe there's a ledge or something and there's just some little imperfection in it. I'm always going to stop and look at those things. If there's somewhere, even if it's just 2 or 3 foot drop pretty sudden where your little contour lines are real close together, I'm going to go over there and look at that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I'm not really doing or saying anything that anybody else is not already doing.
Chad, have you got anything, Chad?
Well, man, Dale has answered Charles Crook's challenge and said, Aaron Churchwell, I'll accept Charles T. Crook's offer and give away $200 if Bobby will give away a second culling system and a pack of the new interchangeable bobby weights.
Don't call my bluff, Bobby. Send it.
Oh, ho, ho.
Well, we're going to do this right here. If Charles is good with that, because Charles called him out, we're going to give away a meat hunter rod here next, guys. So, hey, listen, y'all might be tagging some people because there's some people generous tonight. And make sure that you got any questions here for Wayne. Guys, y'all make sure y'all pop that up in here. We're fixing to give away a meat hunter rod. So, Aaron, take over that just for a second, man.
All right. This one came through early. I actually seen a question that I don't think we're going to be able to get to, and it was fishing post-spawn on the Mississippi. I don't think any of us have enough time on the Mississippi fishing post-spawn, pre-spawn, or during the spawn on that river system to answer that question for you. So I didn't want you to think that we were skipping you guys, but we just don't have the knowledge for that. Dragging baits, Wayne, you prefer during the day? I know what the answer is.
If you ever go by my boat at night, it looks like little green eyes everywhere. I put them little glow sticks in it, and there's nothing I'd rather see is them planer boards take off at night with them little glow sticks.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. I love it.
I think it's fun doing it without glow sticks. You just look up and the rod's folded over, and you don't know how long he's been on there.
Yeah, I do. I really do enjoy night fishing.
Yeah.
I can't stay up as late as I used to. So, but I do. I really do enjoy it, especially when it's hot out here.
Yeah.
When it's hot in Alabama, you got to fish at night.
There was another question that said, at what speed are you running when you're just scanning, Wayne?
No more than 3 miles an hour. You can scan up to probably 5 miles an hour, but I think your clarity's off. I think you're going to miss some stuff. So I usually try to stay around 3 miles an hour.
Yeah.
I think, Wayne, that's something that needs to be stressed because a lot of guys have seen, and they've seen us put a lot of images out there, and they wonder how in the world that you get them images. And the speed has a lot to do with. I've seen. I'm about like you. My go-to is pop it down at about 3 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And start looking. When I get faster than that, I notice that I don't see what I'm looking for. I lose that clarity.
Yeah.
This is probably the most misconcepted thing that I've ever heard about chart speed. Your clarity on your depth finders is based off chart speed, 100%. So when you find your speed that you like to scan in, dial your chart speed in. And the easiest way to do that, go find something that you know exactly is something round. Tires. There's tires in every body of water. You just got to look for them. Go around boat ramps. A lot of times dummies go down there and just throw tires in the water. But when you scan that thing, you want to see a perfect circle. You don't want to see an elongated circle. You don't want to see a oval.
You know
what it really is.
You know, one of the things I don't know how well, I do know a little bit about how the Solix is run, but I've got the Helix, and when I start mashing my buttons, my screen changes as I'm doing that.
Yeah.
And I use a simple analogy, and this goes back way back. So I'm fixing to tell my age a little bit, Wayne. But when we grew up with one of them antennas outside the house that I would always holler at my brother and tell him to go out there and turn it. And you would be watching it snow on TV, and we was trying to get rid of that snow when we could watch TV. But we would take that antenna and turn it till we got the best picture we could possibly get.
Yep.
And I'm the same way with my electronics. As I mash the button on my Helix, my screen changes. And I will sit there and I will go up one, and I look at it, and I go down one, and I go back up, and I say, that's the clearest I can get it. And I go to my contrast, and I do it the same way until I get that. If I'm looking at a treetop, whatever I'm looking at, I'm like, I got it crystal clear. You can tell just exactly what it is. And that's how I get my image. I don't know how everybody else does, but that's one of the things that I do. I do it all the time.
You know, I went to a little seminar that they had down here in Decatur at Dry Creek Marine, and the Humminbird guy was there. And, you know, we all see these pictures, these images that these units are putting out, and we're like, why does mine not look that way? Well, what we don't know is they've went at that object, whatever they're looking at, to take that picture, probably 30 different directions until they get that perfect picture. So, you know, angles, speed, the way you got your stuff set up, all that is a big factor. So,
yeah.
And a lot of times when you see those crystal clear images, a lot of times those come when they're dragging baits or something, when they're moving super, super, super slow.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think that does need to be noted, because there's some images probably all of us has got. I've got some spoonbill, some catfish, and when you look at it, you can tell exactly what he is. And that image comes from moving at 0.4 miles an hour, just creeping. And I looked around and caught on my screen. I'm like, grab my phone. They take a picture of that.
Everybody thinks that we drive around and it's just instantly everything looks like that.
It ain't like that.
It's not. It's not.
Oh, hey, I want to go ahead right now. I'm going to give away one of the meat hunter rods. So I'm fixing to pop it up on here. Trooper Joe. Trooper lives south of me down here around off Alabama. Trooper, if you would, send me your address, and I will get this to Charles Crook, and he'll get you a meat hunter rod. Trooper, thank you, man, for being a part of our program.
Somebody they said that they're going to start a SDC blocker.
Oh man!
Hey, we had a guy ask, what megahertz do you guys mostly scan in? Wayne, I'll let you hit that off.
I think my range on my graph is set like at a 1.15 down to a 1.05, something like that. I've got all my settings in this handy little device right here. I'd have to look it up, but
when I was running Humminbird, you have 455, 855, and Mega. Your 455 is more of a shallow water that you can see. Now, that's on a Gen 2. The new gens, you can see a lot further with Mega imaging. So a lot of guys run Mega.
Yeah, you know, I find a lot of times on my Mega, on my unit, for some reason, stuff is darker than I like it, even when you start fooling with the contrast and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'll bring it back into the 455 or something.
Yeah. But 455 is going to give you a lot better view in shallower water.
Yeah.
With the Gen 2s back then, your live imaging was or your Mega imaging was good up to about 35 foot. Anything deeper than 35 foot, you couldn't really see it. It turned black. That's just how far that they could get that frequency to go. On the Garmin's, we have 455 and 1125. Your 455 again is really good for shallow water. It's not going to show you all the detail of structure and stuff like that, but you will be able to see fish. Now 1125, looking at structure in deeper water, really makes that structure pop. I got some pictures down there on Apalachicola, and I tell you boys one thing, them boys down there in Florida, they do not have a lack of structure. They have a lack of area where you can put your bait without losing tackle. That thing was chock full of trees everywhere, but that 1125 really cleared it up and was able to let me kind of pick apart some areas that didn't have as much structure that I knew I could have a possibility of getting those fish out.
I'm going to throw this out here when it on the different frequencies. And I'm going to go back to this. And I know it works this way with the Helix, and I would say probably the Solix too. The guys here is asking these questions is going to be amazed. If you got the 455, what's the other one? 850, whatever it is. Then on mine I got Mega. And so just when you change in frequencies of where you're at, you want to see what this unit will do. When you're out there scanning, just reach up there and go from Mega and go to 850 or whatever it is, and just look at it and see what happens. When you go to 455, you're going to see a difference in what it happens. And you're going to see that each one of them is going to produce something, and one of them is going to show up a whole lot better than the other ones is what I've seen.
Yeah, they all have a use in certain situations.
They do.
And I've said this before, you cannot mess up one of those units. Factory reset it. If it gets too far out and you can't get it to clear back up, factory reset it, bring it back to normal. It's good to go ahead and have a screenshot of what your normal settings are and just build off that.
Yeah.
So don't
Wayne, there's another question here that says, how far out do you run your lines when you're dragging baits?
I don't, a lot of people, they'll rear back and cast their baits out. I just drop mine over the side of the boat and take off. And I'm going to run out 150, 200 foot of line. Then I'm going to clip my boards on. Then I'm going to let them dudes run out 200 or 300 feet. I want my stuff way away from the boat, way away from the board. And that'll be my outside boards. Inside boards, I do the same thing as far as letting it out where I clip my board on. And then I just kind of get about halfway. And then, like I said, I run one long straight out the back of the boat and one short. That's just how I do it, and been fairly successful with it. Matter of fact, I've always used the little 6,500 Abus, and I went to the 7,000s to give me that extra line capacity.
Mm-hmm.
No, I like
I'm gonna have to get you an Akuma cold water, man. They can hold 1,100 feet of line. You won't want to put all that out.
all that's real cool until that 70-pound fish hits and takes off with it.
Oh yeah.
Then you're thinking, why did I let all that line out?
Yep. You know what's funny is a lot of times when you catch a big fish that far out with that much line, there's so much stretch in it that a lot of times they don't even take drag. It's dead weight. It stops the boat, and you're just dragging him to the boat. So.
Yep. And my worst nightmare is to see a big fish come up to the top of the water about 100 yards behind my boat and see that big tail doing this.
Yep.
I don't want that fish out of the water until I got a net on it.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like it when they come up and then they want to go to rolling. And you're like, all I can think of him is rolling around in my line.
Yep. That's also when a hook comes out of their mouth. They're sitting there with their mouth wide open.
I don't know if you've ever had this. My heart skips a beat every time you got one on, and you can feel him up on the boat spinning, and you feel that slack hitting your line because you done got rolled around it, and my heart skips a beat every time.
Yep.
I'm like, I don't like that. And that's when you do lose them.
It is.
Hey, I want to go ahead right now and take another break. I want to give away I'm gonna give away this $100 credit to Dale's Tackle. Hey, Mark,
we had a question in here that says, so it's not good if you're fishing 30 feet of water, but hook your planer board at 60 feet of line. No, that's perfectly fine. Actually, Stacy, you pretty much drift like that. You tend to pitch it out a little bit, let it go to the bottom, and then clip your line on. Find what's right for you. I mean, Stacy's very successful at it. I'm successful at it. Chad's successful at it. Wayne's successful at it. You put us all 4 of us in the boat together, and we're all going to have a different way to do it.
Yeah.
So
you have to be confident. You have to be confident in what you use and how you do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And in my belief, there's a time and place for all of it. If you're in shallow water, you want that line and that bait as far away from the boat as you can get it. Put them planer boards way out. Put that bait way out behind the boat. If you're fishing structure, the more vertical that you can have it, the better off you are. So if you're in 30 foot of water and you've got 45 foot of line out, when you're moving, it's more hopping than just coming across the bottom. So you got to think about your line and how your line's going through the water. So if you're drifting this way and your line's at this angle, it's going to have more tendency to pull it up and over something. If you're on a shallow flat and your line is 500 foot out the back of the boat, you're pulling it like this. So it's not going to try to hop over something. It's going to pull into it, and it's going to take pressure to get it up and over it. So every one of those, different ways, I think there's a time and a place for.
And I want to go back to what Wayne said. The best thing is to have confidence in what you're doing. And when you got confidence in what you're doing, you're going to stick with it. You believe in it. You ain't switching up, going here and yonder. And it's just having confidence in what you got. Hey, the winner of the Dale's Tackle $100 credit, Mark Anthony. Hey, Mark, you can, if you got Dale on Facebook, you can send him a message on Facebook Messenger. If not, you can send it to me. But if you send it to him, just tell him you're the winner of the $100 credit to Dale's Tackle, and I'll forward this to him. Hey, Mark, we appreciate you coming in. We're going to give away next another Meat Hunter rod. Didn't they say 2 Meat Hunter rods and $200 gift credits? And
another culling system and a pack of bobby weights.
We're going to give a culling system and the bobby weights away in one giveaway. What about that, Bobby?
That works for me. Saves on shipping.
So, Mark Anthony, thank you, man. Have y'all got any more questions here? What else is going on there?
There was one question that asked how many days a week Wayne was on the water.
Every day with a wife.
Charles Crook said, does bobby weights increase your success rate while running planer boards?
Hey, Bobby, you got to answer that and say, well, yes, they do.
Well, I mean, that's common sense.
Seriously, Chad, I'd like to fish 3-4 days a week, and I'm about to the point to where I can. With my job, I'm about wound up. I've got my time in, and probably gonna make a few changes. It's gonna give me a lot more free time to do some stuff. So,
but you don't get to fish. I mean, you're not out there every day, and you're not out there all weekend every weekend.
No, I'm not. You got to balance it between your family life and the fun part. And my son's building a house next to us, and we're in the grandparents' business, and there's a lot of enjoyment in that too. So we do a lot of family stuff, and I actually haven't been on the water in 2 weeks. Still debating on whether or not to fish this classic this weekend. If so, I'll probably be on the water, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So,
what size bait do you like to go with?
Big fish like big bait. Big heads.
I'll put this into perspective for you guys. I've had a lot of guys get in the boat with me, and they'll see you put on a piece of bait, and they're going, what's going to eat that? I brought a guy out on the Coosa one time, and we caught about a 7-pound striper, and I filleted down one whole side of it. and put that whole fillet on as one piece of bait. And that guy's looking at me going, man, there ain't nothing that big in this river. Caught a 52 probably about 45 seconds after we dropped it down.
Yeah.
Them big
Those
fish
have these giant heads.
Yes. Yes.
I'm gonna put this in perspective to the guys who think about this and wonder about it. Y'all seen people put both hands in a catfish's mouth and pick them up, and the fish with a piece of bait big as your hand is nothing.
Can I talk on the phone?
A 50-pound fish, man, would nail it.
Yep.
I listened to somebody one time. I cannot remember if it was Big Cat Patterson or who it was that told me this. There was a guy out on the Mississippi that would literally go out there with about a 10-pound carp and fish with one rod, and he was out there targeting one fish. He was out there to catch 100+ pound fish. He didn't want a 60-pounder. He didn't want a 50-pounder. He wanted a 100-pound fish. But that'll just take it into perspective, man. A 10-pound carp. I mean, a 100-pound fish could just inhale that in one bite.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Definitely.
Yeah. Hey, guys, the winner of the other Meat Hunter rod that we're going to give away, Chad Bice. Chad, if you would, you can send me a message and send me your address along with this, and I will forward this right here to Charles Crook. Mr. Charles, we want to say thank you, man. We appreciate your support and your support of this program so much. So that's the 2 rods that we're going to also give away in just a few minutes. The other $100 credit to Dale's Tackle. Go ahead, Aaron. What you got?
Lucas Gibson said, my fishing partner is a Reed. And I told him he had to tighten up to keep up with Wayne Reed.
Oh.
Charles Crook said, so will a whole chicken get you in the 100-pound club? It probably would, but you got to keep the channel cats off of it for a couple hours.
Aaron, take over here for a minute while I get this other thing done for me, please, sir.
All right, I was just looking through and see if we had any other questions. We had one earlier. What's your go-to bait during spawn?
Skipjack. I'm pretty much skipjack. If I'm trying to target some flatheads like everybody else, it's hard to beat a live bluegill.
Yeah.
But I pretty much stick with the skipjack year-round, froze. And it does not bother me in the summertime when the water up here's surface temperatures 80 to 95 degrees to use froze bait. I actually kind of prefer it, to be honest with you. I think it stays more sin in the water longer and the bait doesn't wash out as quick.
Yeah. Man, I've been having the last couple of years, I've been having a lot of success during the spawn with the big gizzards. You can put them right next to skipjack and brim and that, and for some reason they choose that over the skipjack. I don't know why, but last spring I tried the same thing. I had a lot of good success. Yeah, and that's suspending baits up on the deep water on Gunnersville. But so we're gonna test it in the morning. We're gonna go up and probably put skipjack on half the board and gizzard shad on the other half and see what they prefer. We're gonna fish in shallow water and see what happens.
Y'all going to Gunnersville?
Yep.
Where at?
The big end.
Okay.
Yeah. No, we'll probably run down to the dam and catch some fresh shad. We've got some skipjack in the freezer, so yeah. And then target probably 20 foot or less on some of them flats. Probably end up being a lot shallower than that, though, if we can find some areas that don't have grass yet.
Good luck.
Hey, yeah. I wanna throw something else in here that that Wayne made mention of about the frozen bait, because I know, and I'm big on fresh skipjack, but I'm telling you, I have done really good on frozen skipjack. I may be what you was saying. I have put it on there frozen.
Yeah.
And in 10 minutes, bam. And I'm talking about pull out of the cooler, cut another piece, put it on, Bam. And it's always been the summertime, and I'm wondering, my thoughts, what I would like an ice cube too right now.
That's what I was going to say. You want a glass of cold iced tea or a glass of warm iced tea?
Yeah.
Cold.
So don't underestimate, frozen skipjack. I'm telling you, they produce.
I have heard of some people that will use them exclusively, would rather have froze over fresh because they don't wash out as fast, and it releases the scent slower and for longer.
Wayne, post spawn, what water depths are you looking more? What water depth are you more keyed into post spawn on the Tennessee River?
If I fish this weekend, I'll start looking in 14 to 30 foot of water.
Yeah.
I know it's kind of a broad range, but that's what I would look at.
If I was fishing a tournament this weekend, I would be shallow. I'd go and try to find some, I don't know if a lot of you guys have ever been up in the Elk, but there's a lot of shallow flats up in there with and stuff on it. I'd be putting bait around them trees. Those, if they come right out of that log and they come off bed and there's bait sitting there, they're probably going to eat it.
Yeah. My theory is they're going to come out looking for cooler water.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Hey, that's why we do this. We all got a little different ways of doing stuff.
Yep. That's my favorite saying about this sport. There's 1,000 different ways and they all end up at the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
I want to give away that other $100 credit now to Dale's Tackle. Hey, Tony Ramsey.
Uh-oh, Big Tony.
Tony, if you would, if you got Dale on Messenger, send him a messenger and tell him you was a winner of the $100 credit right there. And if not, you just send me your name and address, and I will get this to Dale. So, Tony, we want to thank you so much for tuning in with us and being a part of this program right here. We basically give your stuff away, Aaron. One more thing with you, all right?
All right.
So you
how fast of current is your key whenever you're drifting or dragging, Wayne, on the Tennessee River?
How fast a current?
Yeah. Do you like no current? Do you like a little bit of current? What do you like?
Down on the big end where I like to fish the most, I like some good current. I really do. I think it holds the fish a little bit, tighter to the structure. They're a little bit harder to find because you know as well as I do when there's some good current down there, they're buried up in the mud.
Yeah.
So you may not mark as many fish, but I like the current. I really do.
I like whenever they're pushing a lot of current on the big ends, because if you look for the seams on where the heavier current is, yep. And I don't think a lot of people realize that even though the Tennessee River is a dammed river, when they get all them turbines going and them floodgates going, that joker can get, 2 mile per hour current on the lake, 3 mile per hour current. It can get them moving.
Yeah.
But if you find areas that current's pushed away from the bank and you have an area that doesn't really have any current at all, a lot of times them fish will stack up right on the slack side of those seams too.
Yeah. The only thing about that big, when you got a 3 mile an hour current, if you get you about a 15 mile an hour west wind, you better be looking for somewhere to get.
Yeah.
The water gets rough quick and in a hurry.
Yes. Wind is one thing, but wind and current against each other, man, that's a recipe for disaster.
Yep.
All 4 of us has probably witnessed what Wilson and Wheeler's capable of doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It can get bad. I don't know. I have people call me every now and then, is there anything I need to look out for? I'm traveling from so-and-so state down to fish on Wheeler or Wilson. And my first comment, watch the wind.
You check the weather.
If it's over 10 miles an hour, you need to be in a big boat. If it gets over 20, you need to be in even a bigger boat.
Hey, if you ask Case,
it's on the trailer.
He's going to be out there in a 17-foot John boat with that joker turned sideways, wind drifting.
Hey, I'm gonna tell this story. We were sitting up there, and you know, if you're there at Ingalls Harbor, man, you can look out there. And we put up there one day, and there was a guy had to been in a 16-foot aluminum John boat, and they was putting in, and we was sitting there. I'm like, I ain't going out there today. And I don't forget who was with me, and I'm like, I can't believe he's going out there. And he ain't looked out there. You could just see it just rolling. I mean, you need to be in a barge to be out there. He put in the boat. He drove to the mouth of the harbor. He turned right around, and here he come back.
That water gets rough, and I mean for real rough.
Yeah. Aaron, here's the winner right here of the culling system and your bobby weights. Brad Andrews.
Mr. Brad Andrews. He's from over there in Mississippi, ain't he?
I think he is. Brad, if you would contact Aaron Churchwell, tell him you won this, and we will make sure we get this right here to you. We got one more thing we're going to do, and we're going to close out the program. I want to give Wayne, if there's anything else you want to add, and if you want to give a shout out, man, to your sponsors or anybody, I want you to feel free at this time, man.
I think we've kind of hit on a lot of techniques, what we do to make us successful. The one thing that I'd like to really stress is the health of these fish. Got to take care of them. And we've all been guilty of it. And sometimes you just do it and not think. But these big fish, guys, we got to quit holding them by vertical, straight up and down by that lower jaw.
Yeah.
You know, my way of thinking on that is that big fish, he's been down on the bottom, pretty close to it most of his life. He's got positive pressure around him, holding everything in place. And then we get them and hold them like this and bounce them to get pictures. I think we do more damage to some of these bigger fish than what we realize. So it's just my opinion, and take it for what it's worth. But if we don't take care of these big fish, and we don't get some of this pay lake stuff under control, it's going to take a big toll on our fishery, and it's something we all need to strive to get better at.
That's one thing I can say. All the guys in the North Alabama region, that there's several of us, and we keep a pretty close eye out. You can usually tell when there's a pay lake guy around.
Yeah, you can. As far as sponsors, BJ Ayers with Original Clear Board, he's been behind me for the last couple of years. He actually sent me some other stuff the other day to use, and I think I figured out a way to really make them work, but I'm going to wait about letting that cat out of the bag. Double L seats, my T-bars, Edmund Crowden, Yammer and Son, he keeps me in, bait. So Jarrett Tempest, he tunes my reels. Hey, I might not be able to stop one big as a Volkswagen, but if it's the size of a golf cart, it's on.
That's good.
Hey, he's been saving that line for a while now.
That's a good one right there. That's a good one.
I seen another one a little while ago, and this is true for me. I do a whole lot of James Bond fishing. 0 bites, 0 fish in 7 hours.
Oh.
So, I thank those guys. I thank my wife for being so patient. She really is, and she doesn't give me a hard time. And I'm blessed to have somebody behind me that supports me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Chad, anything else you want to add to this tonight, man?
Man, Dale just commented back and said if Charles Crook will give away one of them new Boss Hogs reels, he'll match his giveaway.
We're gonna hold that next week.
He ain't gonna give one of them away yet. We still playing with it.
Yeah, we're gonna hold that. We're gonna hold that in our pocket for a while.
I don't think Charles is gonna put that one on the market yet.
Yeah, Charles said, hold up now.
Yeah, he's got a lot of people knocking on that door wanting to see that thing or get their hands on it. So, but I tell you what, I do tell you guys this: when that thing does hit the market, y'all are going to be really impressed with it's a very versatile rod. Very versatile rod.
Now, do you want to add anything else, Chad and Aaron?
Just to, I've known Wayne over the last few years. We've got to be pretty good buddies, and he's a heck of a good guy, heck of a good fisherman. He's a hard one to beat. Glad you was able to be on here and talk to us a little bit, Wayne.
You're welcome. I was going to tell the story about you running out of gas, but I was scared Aaron would tell the one about my battery going dead, so I'm going
to Let's go ahead and tell him about that one. He calls me up, says he needs his boat jump because his batteries are dead, and I didn't even think to ask him, well, what you got in the live well? I mean, we go up there and we jump him, and he beats us. What'd you beat us by, like 4 pounds that night? Something like that. You got first, we got second, I think. I should have told him I'll jump you after the tournament.
I'll come back and get you.
Yeah. No, Wayne is catfish class in this industry, man. He's been doing it longer than I have, and he's a really good person, man. If y'all don't follow him, definitely go like him, go give him a friend request on Facebook, and if you ever have any questions, don't feel bad to ask him. Yeah. So
a top-notch guy, guys.
Yep.
Hey, the last giveaway I got, this right here is for a SmackDown hat. We're going to send a couple more things with this. Brian Bloch. Brian, we'll get this right here to you. Send me your name, your address, and we'll get this right here to you. I may already have you. I already got that, but thank you, Brian, for tuning in. Appreciate y'all, guys. I want to share this, and I'm going to close. Because this past week, this weekend was sort of a devastating thing with the deaths. And just this past week, I worked with a guy. He's, I think, maybe 43, 44 years old. Had a few little problems, but guy's in good health, goes to the gym, works out. I got a message yesterday morning that he had passed away. Just went to the doctor, having a few little issues, went to the doctor to see the doctor to get treated for it, and had a heart attack and died there in his office. And me and my wife was sitting there last night, and we was talking about how life just changes so much. And I had the opportunity, we were sitting there tonight, and there was a question that come to me, and it's recorded in the book of James. And it says, what is your life? What is it? And he answers it. He said it's a vapor. It appeareth for a little time, then it vanished away. Guys, I'm going to tell you one thing, and I'm going to share this. Anybody that knows me, because I believe in this with everything that's in me. I believe that there's a heaven. I believe there's a hell. I believe there's eternal life. And guys, I also believe what you do for the kingdom of God is the only thing that amount that account in the end. And I'm asking you today, what is your life? It's a vapor. It's here today. It's gone tomorrow. Make the most of it. Don't live with regrets of telling your kids that you love them because you've not promised tomorrow. They're not neither. So make the most of it. God bless y'all. May the grace and favor of God continually be upon y'all's life. Thank you, Wayne, for tuning in. Aaron, thank you. Chad, thank you, man. And guys, we will see y'all next week. Y'all hang